All right, today's video is going to be on a unique event I went to recently and why I think it's so cool and why I think we should have more events like this in our sport. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Vermont Cheese Cup that I went to recently, run by my friend Will. They set up a unique and awesome event, and I wanted to talk about why I thought this was so much fun and so interesting, and why I think we need more events like this in our sport on a kind of regional level. So let me describe what it is. I apologize for any sound here in the background. Don't have my mics all set up today. You can see I'm actually in like a nicer shirt than usual. I'm heading off to a work event after this. Believe it or not, I don't get paid to be a knight for a living. So the day job, I work for a university. I just get to hit people with axes and swords on the evenings and weekends. So the Vermont Cheese Cup. Vermont Cheese Cup was a event that I went to recently. So I'm in New Hampshire. I drove to Vermont. It's a couple hours away. We had teams from Maine. We had a team from, Maine and Connecticut, I think, had made a joint team. Two smaller teams combined. There was another Providence, Rhode Island team there. Pale Horse, I believe they're from Rhode Island. We had a Canadian team come down, and that was on the men's side. On the non-men's side, there was a bunch of individual women fighters who came down, and I'll talk about what they did in a second, kind of how that format worked. But what I want to talk about is why this is a fun event, and why I think we should have events like this, and why also they need to be countered with the more formalized kind of official events. So what was this event? It was a melee tournament on day one. Day two had duels and pro fights. It was a tournament with prizes, so that's something that we don't often have or always have, right? And we'll talk about the prizes in a second as well. But it was fought at a farm in Vermont at a community center. We had a bunch of fans, a bunch of little kids who were there. It's kind of a place that I think a lot of people gather on the weekends to see different shows and concerts and events and venues at this kind of like farm/community center. There's a fancy cheese and wine store connected to the farm, which is really cool. And so we had the Vermont Cheese Cup there. And the events, the melees, include the duels and pro fights, particularly the melees, which is what I fought in, were held in a hay bale arena, right? So hay bales stacked too high, so not even to my waist, right? Too high, made a circular list that was big enough for 3v3s. I would have liked to see it big enough for 5v5s, but it was 3v3s. That's fine. So we had 3v3 melee. We did a round-robin tournament where you fought every team, and the teams with the best record went on to the finals. And we did 4 teams. You had the best record for first and second, third and fourth, right? So what made this unique? One, the environment was really cool. A lot of kids running around. A lot of just people excited to see it who didn't know what the sport was. We get that sometimes. But the hay bales are what made it unique, right? So instead of a traditional list, wooden list, roping us in, you had these hay bales that, frankly, you could blast right through. Almost every round, someone went through the hay bales, went over the hay bales, and we had a modified rule set, which was you were not considered down if you were sitting or on the hay bales or on top of the hay bales, and no other point of contact touched the ground. So your knee had, you were pushed down on the hay bale, you were still alive. You were pushed back and sat down, you could pop back up, as long as you were doing it on the second hay bale. So once the hay bale was knocked down and there was only one left or none left, if you touched the ground or touched the hay bale, you were out. Now this may not seem to make much sense, but when you were there, it was very intuitive. You could tell that when someone was down, they were either touching the ground like normal or they'd been pushed through the hay bales. But if they were pushed down and kind of took a quick seat and popped up, you got to keep fighting them. It's made a unique kind of different format. So sometimes you do something that would have normally been maybe a takedown and someone just got a lucky sit down, they got to pop back up, made the fighting more fun. It also made it, in ways, a great event for people who are not fighting at a higher level all the time, who are maybe getting their feet wet, because you would just get pushed through hay bales, right? Like there was a lot less heavy shots being thrown. Well, there were plenty still being swung. I mean, in the end, a lot of rounds were just kind of like who could control the center of the ring. And the rule I found out was just stay away from the edges. Once you're on the edges, it was like you didn't know who was going to win. Because anyone could swing someone around real quick and push them through a hay bale, right? There's no rail to fall back on. So it kind of became like this fight of like who could control the center and keep out of the edges. And what it made for was quick, fast fighting. It made for a really great event. It made for fans loved it because you could see these giant knights like blasting through hay bales, getting thrown over. Sometimes you'd flip over the top of them. One round, we had one guy who was like leaning on the hay bale, and we just kind of picked his legs up and tipped him over gently and like put him on the other side. And it made a really fun, interesting event. So it's different, right? So like I fought 100 events in this wooden list that are all very similar. And this was like, wow, this is a unique experience. You had to change your strategy, change your experience. The fighters all loved it. And it was really cool. So that's a really positive thing. Would I want to do that every week? No, definitely not, right? But once a year, the Cheese Cup is something I'm going to look forward to. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the Cheese Cup. I get to fight in these hay bales, this unique setup, right? And you can hold events like that too with your team, like hold a capture the flag tournament, right? Hold, also sometimes called like troll balls, another version of it. Hold an event where like, you have to protect a certain fighter and make it a game and do something different once in a while. So at the Knights Hall, one of the events that this reminded me of, we have Love Hurts. Love Hurts is an event we do once a year where you come up, it's a one-on-one fight, you spin the wheel and you get whatever weapons show up and you have to fight whatever weapons the other guy has. Sometimes they do it matching, sometimes they do it different, doesn't really matter. Point is, every year it's an exciting, fun event because we do it once, right? So it's really important that you kind of separate the tournament style events that are going to be about developing yourself towards the top level or towards a, if you have a league bracket or whatever, from these kind of for fun training events that are still a blast to do and kind of unique, and you get out there and try something new. And the thing is, fans love the weird ones too. People love seeing these unique things, especially if they've seen a couple night fights, maybe they don't quite get the nuances of it yet. They come pro fights, and they go, oh, this is different, right? Even in the duels, you could push someone through a hay bale. It was great. So really, that's kind of the difference, what made this feel unique. So for the non-men's teams, what they did was they had an all-v-all. So they had a paranoia match, all-v-all. The two winners of the all-v-all then became captains, and then they got to pick their teams. Then those teams fought it out for a set number of rounds, same melee, same rules, knock them through hay bales. After that was done, then the winning team won, the second team came in second. So that's a great way to always do a match when you have less fighters, do a paranoia, into pick your teams, and then do a melee tournament like that. So that's the event, right? So it was fun. It was unique. Fans loved it. Different experience. Something I'm going to look forward to going back to, but something I don't want to do all the time. So be creative. The other thing this event did, and I don't know how Will did this, I haven't asked him honestly, is they had a lot of really great prizes, and it made it fun, especially for something unique, right? So you couldn't do what Will did on a weekly, monthly basis, because Will's running one big tournament a year, this Cheese Cup. This is his thing, right? This is their thing. So with the Cheese Cup, it was the winner got cheese. The winning team got a 19-pound wheel of cheese. I'll put pictures up here so you can take a look at it of us winning it, because the executioners did win. We won this 19-pound wheel of cave-aged cheddar that's apparently very fancy. It is very delicious, and it made it something unique. We were so excited to win this, and we brought it down to the cheese store, and all the knights went in like idiots, and we yelled while they cut the cheese into pieces for us. There's a photo put here of us pretending to steal cheese on the way out. So we did that, and that was really cool, right? So the winning team got this unique thing, a wheel of cheese. And I think it's one of my favorite things I've ever gotten out of fighting as far as like a for fun prize or something like that. The winner of the non-men's team got an axe. They had an axe custom made. A company, American Buhurt, I believe, donated it. It was a cheese axe. So I'll put a picture of that here. So it's like a Swiss cheese axe, right? So that was really cool. So like the winning team got that. Their captain of the paranoia match got the axe, and all the other winning members got a gift certificate. The second place team, the other women's team, they got gift certificates, less, but they still got gift certificates to different vendors. The second place team in the men's got gift certificates. The third place team got gift certificates, and I think the fourth still got like a smaller piece of different cheese. So frankly, if you showed up and participated, you probably walked away with something. How Will did that? No idea. I got that many sponsors. It was great. My understanding is the next day there were actually gift certificates for gambesons from different companies too, like a bunch of different stuff. So what I really liked about this was unique experience, right? So something different, really unique winning prize, Cheese Cup. It means something. It sounds like something. We all get it. You're trying to win the wheel of cheese. Everyone understood it. And then even if you didn't win, but you can participate, there's a great chance to a 100% chance you'd get something out of it as a little gift, right? So, yeah, I mean, frankly, everyone likes getting free stuff. So that's a given. If we give everyone free stuff every event, I'm sure we would. You can't do that. I don't know how Will got this many sponsorships, but even if you had 50%, and even if they're small, right, something to give the fighters who put their time into that fight, really feels special. So something to think about. Now, like I said, I would not do that for most fights because no one's going to give you that many sponsorship things. At the Knights Hall, we hold events monthly at the least. Sometimes back-to-back nights on a weekend, right? So you can't do a prize for that. But if I had to pick one event a year that I would give prizes to, it'd probably be something like Love Hurts. It'd be a tournament that's silly and dumb and unique, and I would try to get prizes for everyone. I'd rather see that once a year than like the first place get, $50 a person or something, I'm making up some number, at a tournament you hold a month. Because then like you get one group of teams or fighters that are probably going to consistently get it, be in the top one or two, and a bunch of people who don't have anything. Now this is not the every person gets a trophy thing. This is, if we're going to have weird fun things, if we want to inspire people to come, if we want them to feel celebrated, then for the fun, dumb events, give them a little something to say this is unique, right? I will talk about even the Rookie Rumble. I wasn't able to go this year, so I don't know if they did it at Valhalla Battlefest. But the year that I went to Rookie Rumble, my last year fighting in it, we all got belt flags. Just little belt flags. Like the Knights Hall made belt flags for everybody. They had an individual number on it. They did this for two reasons. One, the end of Rookie Rumble is like the Royal Rumble. So where literally... you get called into the ring randomly based on, a number draw. Well, they had our belt flags on, so they just said number like 682, you're in, right? And they're all 3-digit numbers because, we had a bunch of fighters that were just all randomized and everyone got one. So that was one reason. But the other one is I got to take home a belt flag. I have my Rookie Rumble belt flag, right? So it's a little thing that's now hanging on my wall next to other things like my USA tabard, next to my Executioner's hood. These things matter to people who want to participate long-term and feel like they're part of the legacy and story. So that's my lesson for anyone setting up tournaments. If you can't do them consistently, make them unique and fun. If you're going to do one, do something that people are going to remember. Two, if you're going to do one, and you want a big event, find a way to give something back. Give the fighters something. You're not going to be able to pay them, most likely. You're not going to be able to, do a lot of different things here that you want to do if you're like a UFC fight, but what you can do is something small. Maybe it's not something as cool as gift cards. Maybe you can't find vendors. I know Will, I'm assuming, reached out to a bunch of people and a bunch of the community offered to help out. That's awesome, but you can do something. And I can do something for you. So if you're looking for your own equipment, your own weapons, Canadian Buhurt, check them out. Link is below. If you mention me before ordering, if you email them or contact them and say Woodchuck Knight sent you, you get 10% off your order. Let me know if you did it. If you get a weapon from them, let me know what you think. I am a proud user of their equipment, and I would like you to have it as well. And it just makes me feel good. And like I said, we'll be getting weapons from them to test and also to give away at some point. So hope that helps. Hope this video made sense. Check out more of my videos. There'll probably be something somewhere where you can see it on this video screen. Like, subscribe, those things matter in both the algorithm and to my feelings. And follow me and then leave comments and all that other wonderful stuff. I'm Woodchuck Knight. Thanks for watching. I'm off to dinner. Have a great night.